beautiful misty morning here. Got the equipment I think we're going to need for this project, and we're here to fix an error that a previous contractor made with the septic, and I'm going to walk you into the backyard and give you the whole story. So let's do it. All right, so here's the story that was explained to me when these property owners who bought this house very recently were in escrow. It was determined that the existing septic tank, not this one, but the previous septic tank, needed to be replaced, and so they worked out through escrow to have a new septic tank installed by a contractor. Plans were drawn up, a permit was approved. However, this tank was installed, was not inspected, and not long after the property owners moved in, they started having backup issues into the house. So after having pumpers come out and pump the tank, it was revealed to them that the tank was installed backwards. So we're waiting for the pumper to show up right now, but once this tank's pumped out, what we're gonna see and what you should look for if you're concerned that your tank is installed backwards is where the baffle wall is. Primarily, that's the first, fastest, and easiest way to determine whether your tank was installed backwards, is where is the baffle wall located inside the tank. So a baffle wall separates the solids from the liquids in a septic tank, with the solids compartment side being much larger, usually 2/3 storage to 1/3 storage. However, once we pump this tank down, what we're going to see is that the baffle wall is very close to this manhole opening, which means that this is the outlet side. I don't know how this could have gotten messed up, especially by a contractor that does this kind of work regularly. So my guess is this contractor really didn't know what they were doing, or left employees here to do the work unsupervised. So either way, we're gonna get this tank removed, and we're actually gonna reinstall it further down over here, closer to the leach field. And we're just going to make sure we meet all the setback requirements to do that. We're going to install risers on the tank, fill it for water tightness test, have it inspected, and you know, get them all connected and back on track. So that's the game plan. We got a lot of work to do here this morning, so we're going to get after it. All right, so something else to keep an eye out for is if you're concerned if your tank was maybe installed incorrectly, is the very first thing I like to check is the building drain line fall. So Corey uncovered this pothole over here close to the house at the clean out, and we shot the pipe here right at the inlet end of the tank. Let's go ahead and shoot that, Corey. So what we can see is the upward arrow and 1.0 inches, meaning that the pipe at the house is actually an inch lower than the pipe at the tank. So that's also a big contributing factor to the backup issues that they're having here. But wastewater does not like to flow uphill, guys. It likes to go downhill at the rate of 2% fall, which is a 2-foot drop in 100 feet, a 1-foot drop in 50 feet, a 6-inch drop in 25 feet, and do the math from there. 12.5 feet would be 3 inches. So that's what we're gonna have to correct, the building drain line fall. So we're gonna be digging all the way up to the house, reconnecting to the pipe there, and getting it down to the new tank location. All right, there's all kinds of stuff out here in the way. So we've just removed this solid section that was going uphill to the tank. While doing so, I was just cross digging with the excavator, found this steel gas pipe with only a few inches of cover on it. Makes a bend right there. There's a water line underneath it, and there's also a separate drain line of some sort coming over the top, or it was going actually underneath the main building drain line. So it's always something, guys. But painted out these lines right here. So what I'm doing with these lines is, that is as close as I want to dig to this tank, because the last thing I want to do if we're going to reuse this tank is hook the side of this tank and bust it open, because that'll cost me a little over 3,500 bucks. So, and I'll tell you right now, I've done it before. So painted these lines. I'm going to stay to the outside of the lines, start digging down on each side of the tank, and we'll just shovel the material off the top, keep digging around the sides, and eventually we can just pop that tank right out of the ground. If you're doing this and you're having a hard time getting that tank to pop free, you can flood the hole with water, because these tanks will float pretty easily, and that'll get that tank popped up and out if you're having a hard time or you can't get equipment to it. So yeah, I'm gonna start digging here and get this thing out. Well, I think it's pretty clear the previous contractor decided to use the old concrete chunks as bedding for around the new tank, and it's definitely a hassle digging through it and getting it sorted out. And we're trying to separate those concrete chunks of what used to be the original tank, I'm sure, and keeping it out of our backfill here, because once we pull this tank out, we're going to be taking this material, moisture conditioning it a little bit, putting it in here, and then using a jumping jack whacker to recompact this material back in so that we can plumb this pipe all the way across and get it out and over to our new tank location. So there's something I'm looking for right here, and wondering if anybody will guess this. So what I'm looking for right now is evidence of effluent leaking out into the soil, and I really don't see anything. It's all dry. What I would see is moisture or a black gooey spot, or a gray kind of coloration, but I'm not seeing anything in here. And the reason why I'm looking for that is because this tank was just backfilled with chunks of concrete basically from the old tank, and who knows what happened to it during the installation process. But I just want to make sure there's not a leak in the tank, because we are going to be reinstalling that tank and doing a water tightness test on it. So from what I can see, no leak in the tank currently, so that's a good thing. Things are happening this morning. Neiman's getting the building drain line plumbed together. We've got this trench down a little ways, and property owner requested that we move the tank. Instead of going here. We're gonna move it a little bit further down, just above the diversion valve at the leach field. And speaking of diversion valves, this one was no good. And down inside here, there's a bull run diversion valve. The previous contractor working here suggested to the owner to remove the actual switching mechanism out of that diversion valve, and so it no longer functions. We're going to replace it with a couple of Valterra knife gate valves. And what Corey's doing right now is he's running the locator down one of the drain lines leading to one of the leach fields here, but it's old Orangeburg pipe. How's that pipe looking, Corey?
Like it's breaking apart.
So you can see Corey just barely lifted up on it, and it's just no good. So what we're likely going to propose to the owner is not only replacing the diversion valve here, but also digging down all the way to the distribution box. And it's likely too that the whole leach field needs to be dug up and rebuilt. So I'll have to talk to her about that and see. But just getting ready to start digging for the new tank here. We had to take out some fencing, and yeah, making good progress. All right, give you a little update here. We got these diversion valves done. That's what they look like. These are Valterra valves, and you have one open, the other one shut, and this leach field would be in use. That one would be off. To reverse that, you just push this down, pull this one up. So pretty simple operation, but wanted to show you this before we bed this and set our valve box over it. All right, we're getting this bedding material in here, and whether it's a plastic tank or a fiberglass tank that you're installing, unless you have native material that is like sand or gravel, it's good to get some bedding in there. It's certainly not going to hurt it. If it's within your budget, I would do it. So we got some 3/8 chip material. It's a washed aggregate down in the bottom, about 3 inches thick. And what we want to do is when we set this tank in there, we're going to want to backfill around the tank up to the mid seam. And what that aggregate's doing is it's supporting the belly portion of the tank, and we're going to tamp that aggregate in, and it's going to work its way into these grooves here on the tank, and that's going to give the tank the structural support that it needs, especially providing compaction along the sides. Now if you don't do that and you don't compact the material along the sides of the tank, the side walls will bow outwards and the top of the tank will squish down. So we got about a 10-wheeler load of gravel out front, and we're just about ready to set this tank in here. Neiman's doing a nice job leveling it out. But you can see he kind of had to squish the reader stick down into the gravel a little bit. That's gonna show up on the top of the tank. So we're gonna take time and rake that stuff around until we're not having to push the reader stick down to get a level beep on the reader stick. Get things perfect as you can right now is gonna make a big difference when you go to set the tank. Just getting this Orenco riser adapter installed on this Roth multi-tank, and we've laid down a bead of this butyl mastic, which is a really sticky tar-like material, and we're driving these lag screws, stainless steel, through the butyl mastic and down into the tank. And we have to be really careful not to tighten them down too much, because these lag screws will strip out in the tank itself. So we're going nice and slow. As you can see, he's driving it down. That butyl mastic is pushing out off to the side, making a good seal. So Neiman's bonus is on the line right here, guys. And if the tank's not level, he misses out on a big bonus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tighten up the tolerance on this receiver. Neiman did a nice job in here, and what we want when we excavate these holes is to have a decent amount of space so we can get more bedding material in and pack it in and work that material under the belly portion of the tank, which we have just about a foot here, more or less. And to show you how we did on the level, Neiman did great. So we're gonna
we have a good boss that talks.
So we're gonna go ahead and get some bedding material around this, pack it in, and try to get it connected, because we're gonna be running out of daylight pretty soon. But yeah, decent amount of room there, decent amount of room there. So ready for bedding material. All right, so next step for us, we're gonna mix some epoxy and get these risers put on here real quick. All right, so the product we're using is, it's called MA320. We get it from our supplier. They get it from Orenco, and it's a two-part epoxy. Comes in a little pouch. You take out the divider and you just squeeze the product back and forth, mix the two parts together. This epoxy is kind of handy to use. You could just squirt it out like cake frosting here out of the pouch.
Pastry bag.
Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Pastry bag. Was there some tongue depressors with these kits?
Yep.
Can you grab those for me, Grant?
Yeah.
I don't think there's an exact instruction, but I just like to take the tongue depressor and then just spread it down towards the very bottom of the riser. Hopefully without getting dirt in there.
Anyway, I'm kind up to date here. I'm sorry. Love you too. I hope everything's well. All right, bye. Oh, beautiful.
Looking good, huh?
That's a thing of beauty there, Chief.
All right, so we got the risers set down on there, but you can see in some spots there's just a little less epoxy, so there's always a little bit left in this pouch. And I'm gonna take that, fill in these low spots, and then smear that all the way around with my finger, and that's what's really gonna make it watertight. All right, there we go. problem we're gonna have is
jacking it in there at an angle.
yeah.
Yep.
So we could take the shovel and get a little bit of that. All right, we'll see what we can do. Might need the digging bar on the back side.
Yeah.
Want to get that?
Yep.
Digging bar down there a little bit. Hold on, look. Yeah, chisel that a little bit. Big rock. Hit that little guy on the side. There you go. Fingers going in. Pull up.
There you go.
Go again. Pull up. Okay, go again. So sometimes what happens when you're pushing the pipe through this rubber grommet, if you're not careful, the pipe will drag the rubber grommet and take it with the pipe, and it'll peel it right out. So you got to be careful. Get it nice and lubricated. You want to hold the pipe on the outside there, Neiman?
Yep.
There we go. It doesn't really matter because we're not connected to anything, so we're going to need to keep a close eye on that when we plumb that elbow on the outside there. Can you move the digging bar back a little bit, or is there a rock right there?
Ready?
Yep. Oh, it's taking it with it. Okay, go. Oh, did it take it with it?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Folding in.
Yeah, take it with it.
I'll just follow that thing or what? I gotta follow it.
Let's get that angle right there.
Taking it with it, looks like.
Okay, go in a little bit more. Okay, hold up. Move this out of the way somehow. Yeah, I took it with it.
Oh, there it is.
Came out. There you go. So if you're wondering what this gray stuff is here, that's Sikaflex. And we just put some inside the groove of that rubber grommet. We have drilled the B hole on this tank because the previous installer that put this tank in drilled the B holes. We're not using the hole that he drilled through over here. We're coming in the side, and we're taking some of the Sikaflex just to make sure we got an extra good seal for our water tightness test. Good shove, good shove. All right, here you go. Oh yeah, looks good. And I'm just gonna hold the camera far back away enough where you can't see the bubble. No, we're doing good. And a little bit of fall coming into the tank. All right, morning of inspection. Tank is all plumbed together. It is filled with water. Pig balloons on the inlet and outlet side. Water level is about 2 inches up into the riser. That allows us to test the joint of not only the riser adapter, but also the joint where the riser epoxies onto the adapter itself. So you can see it's full of water, and it's been holding good. Another thing to note is that the pipe coming in and out of the tank is not too steeply angled. It just has a little bit of fall coming out, and the pipe going in, just a little bit of fall going in, and that's what you want. You really don't want the pipes angling too steeply in or out of the tank, because what that does is it changes the actual invert elevations on the tank. Because if that pipe is angled steeply, it raises the outlet sanitary tee or effluent filter. Same thing on the inlet side, it'll drop that sanitary tee down pretty deep into the tank if you have that pipe angled steeply down into the tank. So that is all looking good. Got the pipe bedded initially here on this first run. I brought some import fill material with me today, so we can cover over this tank. We have to compact between the risers to give it the structural integrity that it needs. And I wanted to show you this diversion valve setup. So before you saw this plumbed, this is what it looks like, with a little bit of gravel around the valves and our gopher wire in here. And we're just going ahead and using, I had a leftover piece of riser section, and this is going to make a much more durable, robust, and, to be honest, obvious box or enclosure for these diversion valves here. And real simple operation again here. One valve is going to be up, the other one's going to be down. And when you want to switch to the other leach field, you're just going to pull that one up, push this one down. That's it. So we're just going to leave it on that field for now. And we are ready for inspection. Gonna have this inspection, and then I'm here by myself today, so I definitely have my hands full. Got a lot of backfill to do, and got to work through some of this cobbly dirt, but we're gonna get it done. Just had my inspection out here, and that all went great. It was mostly consists of a water tightness test on the tank. That passed. We pulled the pig balloons out, drained everything, put the effluent filter down in there, and yep, now it's time to backfill. Got the machines warmed up, and wanted to say thank you to you guys for watching. Got some new subscribers out there. Glad to have you guys come onto the channel, and look forward to sharing some more projects with you guys in the future. Until next time, be safe. Over now.